Coffee. I am Jasmine Pendergrass, Director of Marketing and Events at FPRA, and I am with Sabria, our Marketing and Events Assistants today, and we have Brittney Perry on with Perry Co. Shoe Company. I've seen Brittany stuff on Instagram before, and I'm just like, okay, great, another Black owned footwear brand, and I really wanted to sit down with her today. So, Brittany, do you want to kind of just give the people a little bit about your shoe company, and how you got started or when you got started?
Yeah, so my name is Brittney Perry. So I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm living in Chicago right now. So I've been in Chicago the past 6 years. So I grew up in Indianapolis, born and raised there, and I was a tomboy growing up. So I wore a lot of sneakers. I had an older brother that was into sneakers as well. So I say I kind of was influenced by him on like collecting shoes at a young age. Um, but in Indianapolis, we don't have any like sneaker boutiques or boutiques in general for clothing. Like most people would just go to the mall to get clothes and shoes. So a lot of people will be wearing the same thing all the time. And when you go into the footwear stores at the mall, like Finish Line, Foot Locker, Foot Action, Champs, the men's section was always larger than the women's. So women never had a ton of selection. It would be just a small wall of shoes for us and combine it with like the kids section. And then the men had the entire wall of shoes. So I would just wear a lot of men's shoes because they had more options. So I didn't go to college for design. I went to school for marketing. I originally wanted to market like Nike for Nike or Apple. That's just what I wanted to do. I did have ideas of wanting to start my own footwear company, but again, I didn't go to school for design. So I just assumed that it wouldn't be something I'd be able to do because I didn't have the background. But it wasn't until I started my corporate job. So I'm in like a conservative industry and I couldn't wear my usual sneakers and everything. So I was like, I wish I had a shoe I could wear to work that wasn't doing too much. And then when we have happy hours and things that are after work, I still want to be comfortable and look good. So like I should just make a shoe that meets all those things. And then I wanted to make it unisex because relating back to when I was growing up, how I would have to wear men's shoes. I didn't want anybody to feel excluded. So I just feel like that's what I wanted my brand to represent is just inclusive for everybody and kind of breaking barriers, gender barriers for women in the footwear industry as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tell me about like how you created the design of the shoe. Like, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so I wanted to definitely keep it minimal. Like I said, since I was in a corporate environment, I didn't want to be doing too much. But then since it was my first sneaker, I also didn't want to do a ton because I wanted versatility with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of looked at other brands for inspiration, such as like obviously Nike with the Air Force One, or brands in Europe like Filling Pieces or ETQ Amsterdam that are more minimal. So it's like, I kind of want to keep it minimal, but a lot of minimal sneakers kind of look similar to each other. Like I won't name brands, but there's a lot of shoes that are like you wouldn't tell you couldn't tell the difference between them if you didn't see the name. So I was like, I want to keep it minimal, but there needs to be something that's unique about the shoe that makes it stand out. So that's why I kind of did like the zigzag pattern around the eyelets and use different materials, not just leather, but added in suede and nubuck on the heel of the shoe. So I just looked at other companies for inspiration, but then keeping in my own
Yeah.
designs to make it different as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that because it's definitely, like you said, it is very minimalistic and simple, but there are unique designs in the shoe that makes it, stand out from everyone else. I definitely think that's really cool. Do you feel like one day you may like move away from that style and kind of do, I guess, more funkier styles? I saw you had like some tie-dye clothes and some tie-dye socks. Are you going to try and implement that into the shoes too, or are you going to kind of keep it simple?
Um, that's a good question. I always have something in mind, but then things just pop up that you just want to try out. Because I didn't even intend to do tie dye clothing, but with like COVID happening, I wanted to have something besides the shoes that people could, purchase
Yeah.
that wasn't too expensive or something that was just easily attainable. Whereas if I had to get shoes manufactured, that wasn't possible during, COVID. Um, but I think I would be open to trying something different. It's always good. I'll still stick to the brand as far as being minimal and versatile. So as long as the sneaker is versatile and kind of still sticks with the brand, that's fine. So I'm definitely open to doing like a tie-dye sneaker. I've had some people design shoes, like they took the white Prelude shoe and drew on it.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm always open to like collaborating with other people, or just trying new things and seeing how it works, because you just, you never know.
What part of the supply chain gives you the most challenges? Like, is it, sourcing? Is it manufacturing? Like, what did you find kind of the hardest? And what do you love most? Like, what part of it do you love about the process the most?
Um, the process that's the worst is just like the pre-production, like just getting the shoe made, like the the beginning process. Because again, I didn't go to school for it, and I didn't know what to expect from it. And when I got the first sample back of the shoe, like it looked absolutely terrible, and it was discouraging. But people are like, no, that's normal. Like usually the first sample of a sneaker is terrible. Like it's gonna look super bad. So just get it out there, get it out of the way. So that was definitely the hardest part, for me, is just figuring out, okay, it's not just about how the shoe looks, but you need to think really hard about the materials, who's wearing the shoes, the different environments, climate, like if you're in Chicago walking a lot, or if you're in California, what types of materials should you be using for your shoes, for that like longevity of the shoe. So it's just a lot of things that I didn't think about, before that. Going through that process, now I know. But it's definitely an exciting process, because you get to see like your ideas come to life, and then you just think about all of the ups and downs that you went through just to get the shoe made, and then when you finally have it in your hand, it's just like, I don't know, euphoria. It's euphoric. Like it feels super good. Like it's like a high that I never felt, and I was just like, man, I'll go through this again and again. So even though it's stressful, like I would do it regardless. And I think that's how you know you're where you're supposed to be, when you feel that way.
Yeah, this series that we're doing also is, of course, during Black History Month. So, you describe how it feels like once you're actually able to get your product out, but how does it feel to be, a Black woman in the footwear industry, especially a Black woman brand owner? Like, what are your thoughts on that, or just like kind of like the environment right now?
Yeah, I really feel like this was the perfect time. Like I've been working on this for years. Like I officially started in 2018, but I was working on it before then. So I just didn't see anyone out there that looked like me that was doing what I was doing. So I'm really happy to be in a position now to inspire other young women, to follow their dreams. Like you don't always have to work for the larger corporations. And a lot of companies are saying, there's only so many design jobs for people out there, um, which can be discouraging. But I just want to show other people that there's other ways. Like you don't have to work for these other corporations. And if you believe in something, or if you have a passion for something, that you can definitely start it yourself and bring other people on. And you just have to make sure that you bring other people along on your way. Just how there wasn't someone there for you, like you can be that person for somebody else. So that's what I'm really inspiring to do at this point now.
So what would you say like are the first steps for someone who wanted to start their own shoe business or design their own shoe? Like what would be the first thing that they have to do? Would it be like create the design? Would it have to like find somebody to source the shoes? Like what's first, on the list of all the many things that you have to do?
Yeah, it's definitely the design process. So just thinking, what type of shoe do you want to do? And obviously there's different types of shoes. So I'll definitely look at competitors, but what makes your shoe different? Because you don't want your shoe to look like someone else's shoe. So you definitely want to do your research prior to make sure, okay, this doesn't look like anyone else's shoe. For me, that's what I didn't want to do. Um, what would be your typical consumer base? Like who are you selling to? But also something that's really important that I didn't start doing until later was, what is your story behind the shoe? Because there's shoes everywhere. Like why would somebody want to purchase your shoe compared to like buying a Nike shoe or someone else's shoe? So it's really, it's not only obviously the quality of the shoe and how it looks, but it's the story behind the brand and how the shoe came to be.
Yeah.
So definitely think of those things when you're in the design process at first.
Okay. And then I have another question because I'm also a sneakerhead. Are you
Mhm.
still as big of a sneakerhead as you used to be, or are you all about your sneakers and your sneakers only?
No, I'm still a sneakerhead. Like I'm still managing my cash because like it's expensive to
Hmm.
create shoes, but like I can't let some of these good shoes go. Like I'm
Yeah.
always gonna be a sneakerhead. There's been a lot of really, really good shoe drops like the past year or two. And then the revolution of the Dunk has come out, and that was a shoe that like inspired me when I was in high school because, like I said, everybody had Jordans. So I kind of switched over to Nike SB and wearing like Blazers and Dunks. At
Yeah.
one point, no one had those because we're in Indiana, no one skateboards.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just like a different combination of things that inspired, like things that I like personally that inspired the shoes that I make and what I like to wear. But I have no problem wearing, anybody else's shoes. I still do, but I look more at independent brands as well, not just like Nike and Adidas.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Because I just feel like, we always have to get our inspiration from somewhere else. And so I just wanted to see like who still inspires you. Like, do you still get inspired from other people, or is it all just, about your shoes? Because your shoes are definitely cool. And I feel like with them being, genderless, like, and especially because people do it with the Telfar bags, like they design their shoes. And I feel like now that's so dope that people can also do that with your shoes. So have you ever thought about like maybe taking some of their designs and like actually selling those shoes to like your market?
Mm, I actually have thought about it. I think there's definitely pathways for us to like cross paths and collaborate on, not just shoes, but bags. There's other companies that I would like to collaborate and just to see where Telfar has
Yeah.
come so quickly because they've
Mm.
been around for years.
Yeah.
But then I feel like with 2020, everybody was kind of on pause, and then the whole Black Lives Matter movement, just really looking at these corporations and seeing like who are the people in the boardrooms making decisions. Who are we buying our products from? Do they look like us? So I think more people are starting to pay attention to like who they're purchasing from, and trying to support our own for sure more now than ever before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the just thinking about Telfar, uh it has been out. That brand has been established a long time ago, and it just has taken off so much so that they have brand deals with footwear now. They've made some of their own boots now.
Yeah,
And
with UGG, right?
right. And
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because of the marketing behind it, right? Like it has this, like their email marketing is very different. It's not your typical um, Instagram feed. It's not, it's just very them, so to speak, right? They're definitely,
Very unique.
yeah, a specific audience. So, and with you having a marketing degree starting out with and that being like your like what you wanted to get educated in, do you find yourself using what you learned in school or just your love for marketing? Like how have you incorporated some of that into your own brand?
Hmm. I'd say the marketing degree helped somewhat, but it didn't help enough. Like it's more the marketing now is like more so visual and digital, whereas the marketing that I was learning in school is like obviously you need to figure out, what differentiates you from your other competitors, um, who are your consumers, and figuring out their needs, like the basics. I think the thing that I learned the most in school and with my regular job was just being in a sales environment because I'm in sales. So being able to obviously talk to people on a regular basis, build relationships. You're always going to be told no. So being able to handle rejection a lot, I think those things actually help prepare me more for this role than actually getting the marketing degree did.
Mhm.
But the marketing degree, it helped. But with technology and everything changes so quickly. So it's just like you just have to just continuously be learning about different things that are going on. And now I'm getting older, so I feel like I'm kind of like outdated with some of the things like TikTok and stuff. So I'm just like, man, everything's going. I can't do the TikTok. I can't do
Can I?
so. So it's like, you know,
Channel.
you just have to continuously be open to learning. But you know, if you can't do something, then you can always bring in someone to help you out for sure.
Mhm.
What do you have coming for this year? Like, are you excited about any particular launches that you'll do this year, or maybe a new material you're incorporating, or anything like that for 2021?
Yeah, I'm working on expanding into some retail stores, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm also working with a nonprofit organization called Kicks Academy. So they actually mentored, like, do these cohorts around the world for kids of all ages, from elementary school to high school, and teach them the ins and outs of footwear design. So I'm partnering with them next month to create like a version of my sneaker, and they're gonna like you know do some crazy stuff using different materials, and then they're gonna manufacture a couple of them, and then we're gonna mass produce them. So definitely trying to give back more to the youth and get them inspired to get into the footwear industry. If it's not footwear, graphic design and other things that are incorporated, um, in the footwear industry.
That's cool. I do
Mhm.
have I do have a question just because I heard you say you're from Chicago, and I like to consider myself an honorary member, a citizen of the Chicago city, just because I have family from there and I visit all the time, but I'm not really from there. But anyways, do you feel as though living in Chicago and living in the city has, affected your designs? Has it affected how navigate the footwear industry?
It definitely had. I would say not necessarily the design process, because I would say Chicago is more street, but I would say my shoes are more of a lifestyle type of shoe. But as far as like the culture and being in Chicago, it definitely inspired me to want to start my brand, because I didn't start my brand until I moved to Chicago. So just being around so many other entrepreneurs of color, because there's two streetwear brands that are Black owned. So Success is a footwear store in Chicago, and Leaders is a footwear store, and there's only 17 Black owned footwear stores. So for two of them to be in Chicago, and I could like personally learn from these people and talk to them on a regular basis, that's like incredible. So they've been great mentors, everybody. But then also everything that's going on in Chicago, like all the designers. So you have Sheila Rashid, you have Joe Freshgoods, Don C's from here, Virgil. So I just feel like I just got here at the perfect time, and there's just
Yeah.
so much going on all the time, especially for African Americans. Like,
Hmm.
we pretty much run in the culture, like, and I feel like Chicago is the heart of that. It's just somewhat slept on, just because like we're in the Midwest,
Yeah,
and people
most
just kind
definitely.
of gravitate. Yeah, people gravitate to LA and New
Joe
York.
Freshgoods is definitely from Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many people that are in the footwear industry that have had such an impact that are from Chicago. You even have some people like Dave Jeff. I don't know if you guys know him, but he partners with Puma, and he does a lot of events with Puma for kids in the Chicago community. So there's definitely a ton of people that I look up to in the community that are doing really great things for the culture for sure.
Yeah. That's why I'm an honorary citizen.
Where are you now?
um, I live in Maryland right now. Yeah.
Okay, you're on the East Coast.
In the
Okay.
DMV. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, Brittany, where can people go find your stuff though? Are you selling in multiple places? Are you selling direct to consumer just on your website? How do people support, purchase, check you out?
Yeah, right now I'm strictly e-commerce, but that will probably change within the next couple months. I will let you know. But you can find me on perrycoashoes.com, and also on Instagram at perrycoashoes.
Awesome. We'll be sure to put that on the video as well, so no one misses that. But thank you so much for joining us. I am excited about you getting into retail, especially because I know people are dying to get back out and be normal and shop like I
Yes.
miss shopping. So it'll be great to be able to see your product on some shelves. So thank you for joining us, and you guys check her out in the description box. We'll have all her information there as well.